When you're gone, there'll be nothing else. I'll be alone. All alone. I can't. Lucas.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh no.
Can you stand up?
Yes.
He's there.
Yes.
Do you know what you have to do?
Yes.
So, when Game of Thrones ended, I made this very interesting comparison where it doesn't matter how well you will craft the shaft of a spear, how many nice ornaments or symbols it has, all the spear is gonna be remembered for its tip. If you put a penis on top of the tip, it's gonna be a penis spear. No matter how much effort you put into crafting the shaft of it. This game puts me in a weird predicament, because this is the first game that has really bad writing. For each positive thing in the writing, it has an equally bad or even worse part in itself. Last Sunday, I sat down even with my sister and talked about the Plague Day games and realized even more how this game is almost an equal split in its story writing, where there are so many absolutely bad things, like for example the magistrate that we gave Hugo to, that escalated this entire situation to begin with. The multiple times we should have just died to the Red Plague, especially just recently when the tower fell on us. The tower had a horde of rats behind it that would have just swarmed through the gravel. And the amount of really bad turret sections that were way better done in the were supposed to be arena fights, but were way better done by its predecessor, Plague Tale Innocence. This game is definitely inferior to its previous game. But this is where it's weird. Because I like this ending way too much. I do not like how we ended up here. But this time we have a shittily crafted shaft with the sun on top of it. Okay, I'm gonna make this comparison as well. I compared this to Callisto Protocol before as well, but this one scene from Callisto Protocol is the most giving of to why this is a bad game. Oh. When the British guy died, we get the scene where we put on the suits, and suddenly we ask him why is he even in here for, and we get this scene where he explains, where he cracks the joke, hey, why, you're worried you're helping a murderer? And then when we get the ridiculousness of our question, he says, yes, you're helping a murderer. But he is not in there for he doesn't deflect any of his guilt anymore. He understood at some point everything was on him, and he had to better himself. And we get this really emotional scene with him, and then he dies. We do not know this guy. He helped us get from point A to point B multiple times, and we built some sort of trust to him, but we did not knew this guy. The game tried to pull a fast one on the player with this one emotional scene, and then killed him straight away, just to get this companion replaced with the Asian chick, to then let us not even think about why the death scene could be weird. Which is why many people might think I'm very harsh on this game. But this game has been very... It doesn't let me think, it wants me to tell what to think with its emotional gameplay. Like, once again, in the magistrate scene where we gave the Magister Hugo, all the scenes where we saw Hugo, he was disturbed, he was panicking, he was not well and in pain. And we are there and not kicking those adults' butt and getting him out of there. They are doing worse to him than the Inquisition, and we just let it happen. And even worse, after this scenario is over, and the mother even said something along the lines of it was probably not the best, she still was willing to go back to the Order. And those are mistakes I'm not willing to forgive. She got tortured and worse in the dungeons of the Inquisition to get to the secrets of the Macula. When Hugo was captured by the Inquisition and they couldn't retrieve him from them, who knows what they had done to the both of them. After we got Hugo back, we didn't know what would still be happening to his mom. And she trusts even more into an order that mistreated his son more than the Inquisition. So even so, right now the game is playing an extremely strong emotional band, and even the music has now stopped playing even so I only scratch the surface level of my complaints. I'm gonna make a supercut of all my complaints I did while in the game and upload that right after. And hopefully that will be explanatory enough, else I'm gonna do the in-depth version like I usually do. So, this is the end of Plague Tale. Hope you enjoyed.
Amicia, we're here.
I know.
Hey, I'm glad that my sister knows me quite well, because she made me believe this is gonna have a happy ending. So, man. Because when we talked about the ending, we talked a lot about how Hugo just needed to be let alone and we just needed to be in that mountain house. So I got completely blindsided to a possible bad ending. So I'm even more glad that they went for something like this. Because this story never was a positive story. And in innocence, they even shied away from being so disturbing towards its end. They tried to have that after story that is very upbeat, the family is back together, but like I always said, there's still that tortured, barely conscious woman in the back of the car, their mother. So, for me, it was even more disturbing how free-spirited that last section was. While I don't really want to talk these stories since I want to make that supercut, I should highlight the technical problems I had with this game. Because this game also made me aware that I really wanna no longer give games plus points for good lighting, or for lighting effects in general. The lighting distracted way too much from the bad graphics that this game has. They tuned up brightness and everything to make everything look prettier, but the moment you look in detail, especially if you have a lot of graphics at the same time, you will see just how scuffed the objects even are. I really like what they did with the costume designs. The costume designs of each character are top notch still. But the plants, grass, trees. My sister was telling me how everything is quite vibrant when you are out in the world. But I always could see flowers brighter than the grass. And here everything is just tuned up and you were barely even noticing the flowers in the grass. They were not distinguishable because they were all on the same power level of color.
Feels higher each time.
Oh, Sophia, you came.
Of course. I wouldn't miss this. Careful, I smell like a goat.
Well, then welcome to your land, goat.
How do you feel? Are you ready?
I guess so.
No point in wasting time then.
Wait. Well, let's go.
As you wish.
I guess I'm gonna
horses up
take
there.
this as a special example
So,
that if you
what have
don't
you
really
been up
look
to
at
these
it,
last months?
you don't really
Walking,
notice that these
fixing the
branches
house,
are really
trying
scuffed
to exhaust
PNGs,
myself.
way too
Does
flat
it
and
work?
not really
It's-
transparent at times.
Better. Yes,
Good. You had me pretty worried, you know.
I'm fine, Sophia.
Okay, yellow and white
It's
is a
been
bit
a
hard
year
to distinguish, but
already.
for example
And
these
How's
purple
the business
flowers
going?
down there.
Good. Doing more legal
Yeah.
trading these
Same
days.
with this
Oh.
tree.
What happened?
Well, I just want to live longer.
Really?
I like a quiet sea.
And
better than a
sadly,
storm.
all of that
Speaking of which, we'll depart
um,
tomorrow.
transitioned into
Great.
the smaller cutscenes that you had here and there, especially when there was fog
Is our
or
alchemist coming?
dusty sun rays. You would
Well,
see that there would
he's still on
be
the road.
some sort of
All by
outlining
himself.
around
We grew
the
up so fast.
He
characters.
needed this.
And the main reason why I'm no longer interested in what they will be saying
Let's
is
pick
because
up
the
the pace
game
a bit.
tries probably to pull the same tricks they tried in the first game. The game ended. This is just extra. This is not really important. It is important maybe for some people that we get closure in this ritual to remember Hugo. But for me, the game already has ended. There's nothing that comes after
So-
this.
Do you know where we can put you ashore?
Not yet. But I think I'll know when I come across the signs.
Of the macula.
Yes. It leaves marks on things and people. I think I can find where the next carrier and protector will rise. The next plague. I want to set the path for them, like Aelia did for us.
No use telling you just to rest, then.
None.
Fine. Ah, it smells so good. And the quiet.
Yes. I'll miss it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. The best way forward would probably be even with the Order hand in hand, but you would have to convince the stubborn Order to work with you. Because from
Getting
previous experiments we know that the Order just went for result-based things and they was scared of the Protector. Where the Protector was rather uncooperative since they were basically torturing the child. So they had to lock her away and keep her away. But now Amicia basically knows that the only one that can stop the macula at the very end will be the Protector. So even so it's quite gruesome, training or changing the Order to where they train the Protector for that moment, and then also doing research in how to prolong the last threshold, and then maybe get to some sort of potion where it can be contained or prolonged. That would probably be the best way to go, even so it sounds kinda cruel, but that is medicine for you. You need to... It's often said that in order to understand the sickness, you need to observe patient number 0. And we have learned that if the if Basilius had his Protector, maybe there could have been something done. But then, once the threshold was passed, there was nothing to be done. But the only person that the carrier wouldn't want to kill, at least in this scenario, was his protector, his sister. So when if you wanna get this to some sort of control one day, or regulate it to some sort one day, you need to train the protector to be ready for the worst case scenario. And most importantly, find a way to convey that in a nice way, because telling him or her that we will now strap that guy to a desk and do experiments is probably not the nicest way to say it, but hey. But if you keep things on the vague, where you will not manipulate in any way, well, I guess Alicia's best or Alicia's scenario that she wants to create is that to inform them that they really need to isolate, and not in a prison, because that would be too bad for his mental. So he couldn't. So he would get overwhelmed by the macula, but some sort of distant place like this one. Yeah, that's enough talk.
Boys, this is Amicia. Be kind to her. It's a special day.
Hi. Can you give me some time? I have one last thing to do.
Take as much as you want. My back still hurts from the road.
No storm coming?
You're the only one I see.
It won't take too long. It's going to be all right. No. The sea will look so flat compared to this. Come on, you're getting there.
So, what would you guess why this is annoying me? Hmm? At least the summer festival that they had, or spring festival, was somewhat interesting. You got more good dialogue, you had an aftermath description, but right now we are just fucking climbing.
It's me. I'm coming in. It's going to be all right. Hey. They didn't used to come here before. I always knew you'd be good at making friends. I wasn't sure I was ready, but Sophia's here. I'm sorry. Why is it so hard? We never backed down, right? We held. May this earth remember how much you loved it. May it remember all you gave to protect it. I remember. And I won't let it be forgotten.